One summer, I planted a sunflower seed in the corner of my garden. Every day, I watered it, waiting for it to grow. Weeks passed, but there was no sign of life. Disappointed, I focused on other tasks. One day, I noticed a tall golden sunflower standing proudly in the sun. It had grown quietly, out of my sight. The twist? The sunflower taught me patience. Growth often happens when we're not looking. In life too, our efforts can bloom when we least expect it. Keep planting your seeds. You never know when they'll turn into something beautiful. I found a penny on the sidewalk today. It was dull, tarnished, and most people would walk right by, but something about it made me stop. I picked it up, turned it over in my hand, and thought about how it had traveled. Pockets, counters, maybe forgotten under a couch. It wasn't much, just a cent. Still, I decided to keep it. Later, at the coffee shop, I added it to the tip jar. The barista smiled, and I realized even the smallest things, when shared, can create something bigger. Sometimes, what seems insignificant has the power to change a moment or a day.
Lila walked past the same park bench every day. It was old and weathered, yet always empty. One morning, she found a small notebook on the bench. Curious, she opened it and read, "Dear stranger, share your thoughts here." Page after page held messages, dreams, fears, jokes, even sketches from others. At the end, someone wrote, "To the next person, this bench is never empty. It holds pieces of us all." Lila smiled, realizing the bench wasn't just wood and nails. It was a quiet space where lives intersected, proving connection can be found anywhere.
During a power outage, I lit a single candle. It flickered softly, illuminating the room. I sighed, thinking it wasn't enough. Then I noticed how the shadows danced, turning the walls into a moving canvas. Sometimes what feels small or insignificant is more powerful than it seems. In the darkest moments, even a tiny light can change everything, not by overpowering, but by transforming what surrounds it. On my way to work, I saw a loose button on the sidewalk. It seemed useless, but I picked it up anyway. At lunch, I noticed my coat was missing a button. Smiling, I sewed the new one in place. Life's small, random moments often have purpose. Sometimes what seems insignificant today is exactly what you'll need tomorrow. Keep an open mind. You never know when it'll fit. When Emma's alarm didn't go off, her day began in chaos. She spilled coffee, missed the bus, and arrived late to work. Frustrated, she cursed her bad luck. At lunch, she walked by a park and saw a child struggling to fly a kite. The wind finally caught, lifting the kite high, and the child cheered. Emma paused, smiling for the first time all day. She realized her morning wasn't ruined. It was just like the kite. A few setbacks didn't mean she couldn't soar. Life's gusts might knock us down, but with patience, we catch the wind again.
Every day, Jake tried to teach his dog Max a trick. Max stumbled, wagged his tail, and tried again. Weeks passed, and one morning Max finally nailed it. Jake cheered, realizing something. The twist? Max wasn't just learning, Jake was too. Persistence isn't just for the goal, it's for the patience and joy in the journey. Sometimes we grow alongside what we nurture.
On her first hike, Mia struggled up the steep trail, her legs aching and breath short. Around her, seasoned hikers passed effortlessly. She wanted to quit, but a curious bird caught her eye, hopping on a branch ahead. Its small hops mirrored her steps, and she smiled, feeling less alone. At the summit, the view stole her breath. She realized the bird hadn't led her to the top. Her own steps had. Sometimes, the smallest moments of inspiration remind us that progress comes one step at a time, even if it feels like a hop.
Tom loved his garden. Each morning, he'd check every leaf, prune every branch. His tomatoes were perfect, his roses flawless. One day, a vine crept in from the neighbor's yard. It grew fast, wild, and tangled. Tom grumbled but let it be, intending to cut it back later. Weeks passed, and the vine bloomed. Bright purple flowers Tom had never seen before. Neighbors stopped to admire them. The vine brought more joy than Tom's perfect plants ever had. Tom realized something. Not everything needs control. Sometimes beauty grows when you let go.
I found an old vase in the attic. It was chipped and cracked, but I placed it on the windowsill anyway. I filled it with fresh daisies and watched as sunlight danced through the cracks, casting patterns on the walls. One evening, a friend asked why I kept it. "It's broken," she said. I smiled. The cracks let the light through. Sometimes we're quick to discard what seems imperfect, but flaws don't diminish value. They reveal unexpected beauty. The vase taught me this. What's broken can still hold something beautiful.
Sam always held the door open at the grocery store, even when people rushed past without noticing. One day, a woman with a stroller stopped and said, "Thank you. It's been a hard week and this means a lot." Sam didn't expect his habit to matter. He realized that small, unnoticed kindness could still touch someone deeply. The world often feels cold, but even tiny, unseen actions can warm a heart. Keep doing good. You never know who's watching. Every morning, Clara biked the same route, waving to Mr. Lee, who watered his roses. One day, she crashed, scraping her knees and bending her bike. Embarrassed, she avoided the path for weeks. When she finally returned, Mr. Lee stopped her. "I missed your wave," he said, handing her a rose. Clara realized her small habit mattered more than she thought. Sometimes what seems ordinary to us can brighten someone else's world. Keep showing up. You might be someone's sunshine. Lena planted a seed and waited. Days passed, but nothing grew. She almost gave up. Then one morning, a small sprout broke through the soil. It had been growing quietly all along. Lena smiled, realizing that growth isn't always visible. Sometimes progress happens beneath the surface, and patience is the key. James lost his house key and searched everywhere, his bag, pockets, and the ground. Frustrated, he gave up and sat on the porch. As he leaned back, he felt something dig into his side. The key had been in his coat's hidden pocket all along. He laughed, realizing his search was unnecessary. Sometimes what we seek is already with us. We just need to pause, look within, and trust that the answers we need might be closer than they seem. On her birthday, Mia received a beautifully wrapped gift. She placed it on a shelf, saving it for a special day. Months passed, and life got busy. One rainy afternoon, she finally opened it. Inside was a note. "Every day is special." Mia laughed, realizing the gift was a lesson. She had waited for joy when it had been within reach all along. Sometimes the best moments aren't saved. They're unwrapped in the present. Liam hated his job cleaning the park. Every day he picked up litter left by careless visitors. One morning he found a note taped to a bench. "Thank you for keeping this place beautiful. I proposed here last week." Liam stood still, the trash bag heavy in his hand. His work, though unnoticed, had made a difference. He realized even the smallest efforts could create spaces for life's biggest moments. Sometimes what feels thankless holds the most meaning. Keep going. You never know who you're helping. Mia loved her morning coffee at the corner cafe. She always smiled at the barista, an older man with a tired face. One rainy day, she was rushing and forgot to smile. The next morning, the barista handed her a free coffee and said, "You didn't smile yesterday. I missed it." Mia realized her small gesture mattered. Even on rushed, rainy days, kindness has power. The simplest acts can ripple farther than we know. A smile costs nothing, but can mean everything.